Good afternoon, everyone. I had a question come in about adding to winners or leaving runners. Um, this is sort of similar to the video I mentioned on selecting a ticker, choosing one ticker, playing one ticker. We can start from the high time frame and go to lower. Check this out. The NASDAQ, this is the NAS, right? Yeah, the NAS, makes a swing high on July 19th. This high remains untouched. You get a lower high, crap out, whatever, some bids, whatever, craps out eventually, right? July 19th is your high. Take a look at the ES. July 19th makes a high, those stops are ran, and it makes a higher high on July 27th. Uh, the ES tends to run stops and then move in a direction, or it tends to have less momentum in one direction, right? Here was I had a level here, 83. There you go. Uh, I took it long. If instead you were waiting to get long against that low, it came back on you, stopped you out, moved upwards, right? If you were a short seller, you're trying to see a break of that low and get short, it trapped you, ripped upwards. The Nasdaq, on the other hand, when the ES made a low at 1010, here's the Nasdaq low at 1010. The next low on the ES is only 1 point lower. The next low on the Nasdaq is whatever, 40 points lower, 30 points, whatever it is, a much more notable low. When the Nasdaq was breaking last week's low, right around 542, if you got short on the break there, you could have added to your shorts for the further move downwards. The Nasdaq simply it is more concentrated in fewer stocks, so that any move has more momentum behind it. I think I can actually pull this up right now. There you go. Here is most of this is just tech, right? Tesla -3%, -5%, Nvidia, Netflix -1.5%, Amazon -1.5%. Uh, these sectors, to no surprise, tend to move in unison. If the Nvidia is having a shitty day, well, the rest of the tech stocks are probably going to have a shitty day. Well, that means the Nasdaq's going to probably have a shitty day because it's so concentrated. Uh, so in regards to adding to winners or leaving runners, I think on the ES you want to be pretty conservative with thinking something's going to absolutely rip upwards, right? Or trying to see momentum to the downside. Uh, if you want to get into more specifics about your specific MAE and MFE, well, here's a good example again. I was long 83s. I ran the math last week on whether taking 6 points would have done better for me over time compared to 5 points, and it would have done exponentially better. I would have been up another, I think I did the math, I would have been up like another 20 R. Not 2, but 20. Not 2, not 12, but 20. Um, so I was offered out. You can see this, no fail at +6. I was offered out at 89, hit 89 to the tick, didn't get filled, took my +5. I didn't want it to come back on me and then go all the way up, right? I'll take my +5 and I'm happy with that. For me, that's a 1.25 R, +6 would have been 1.5 R. It's fine. Um, there was also some evidence of this is a tiny little auction here. This is a tiny little auction. If you ran a volume profile, you'll see 88 3/4, I think, was the POC of that little profile. So that is likely where an offer would step in, as it did. As it did. Um, that's all I really got. Runners are going to be discretionary, in my opinion. You can use statistics to get a better idea as to how they might work on the day. Today, to me, it's a red day, right? We accepted below the opening range, especially on the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is going all the way to the -3 standard deviation of last week's VWAP. It's breaking last week's low. It's gapping down. Blah 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 blah. All the auctions are breaking to the downside. Any longs that I take, I'm not looking for a hero long, right? So that's what I'm taking into account when I'm thinking, should I go for +6 or +5 or +10 or whatever? Um, And then for adding to winners, I think that really depends on not only how the auctions are going intraday, but more importantly, I think it depends on what ticker you're trading. If you're trading the ES, uh, I'll put it this way: I don't think I know anyone who adds to their winners on ES. which is not the case on NASDAQ. I know quite a few people who add to their winners on the NASDAQ, um, and I know quite a few people who will hold runners very well on the NASDAQ, whereas the ES, much quicker to cut them short. That's all I really had to say on this topic. 5.5 minutes, a shorter video. Hope that helps. I'm not going to say your name because that's a slur. But I hope that helps. Uh, have a great rest of your day. Trade safe.